Today, I let you guys see something I never thought I would. My legs. Bask in their glory, I know. Didn't feel like putting on pants, so instead I'm wearing basketball shorts. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Also Rusty Buckets. I don't know what the fuck that intro was. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already, and drop a like on this video. This channel is very nearly at 40k subs, so I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. Half the people that watch these videos are not subscribed, and most of you are watching this from my main channel, so if you're watching the videos anyways, subscribe. Anyways, going to talk about a few games today, but really I want to talk about the playoff race in the Eastern Conference above all, because like last time, the games that I watched today, really there was nothing too substantial about them, other than, of course, for this Celtics-Warriors game, just Steph and Tatum going at it, and Steph being fucking ridiculous as he tends to be, and on good timing as well, because I just released a video about Steph Curry and then he has 47 points. So I guess I can talk about this game first, just because it's the best game of the day. Tatum had 44 points while Steph had 47. The Celtics did not have Jaylen Brown, and excuse me. What's interesting about this game, and I've been talking about the Celtics lately, is that they made a bit of a comeback in this one. I don't know what the exact deficit was, but the Warriors had a pretty sizable lead, and the Celtics came back from it. And that's the level of fight that you just have not seen with the Celtics this year, and it's nice to see. On the Warriors side of things, dude, what can I say other than Steph Curry doesn't make any fucking sense? Like, I can't, there's no analysis to be had. This game with Steph Curry being awesome, Andrew Wiggins played well too, and Draymond, as you'd expect, anytime Steph has a big game, look at the box score, usually Draymond has like 10 assists. That's exactly what happened here. Draymond, absolutely insane. Also, I should say Juan Toscano-Anderson, he had a scary fall where he jumped over the stanchion, where it looked like he was dead for like 30 seconds, but then it looked like he was fine afterwards. He might be injured or something, but I do want to say Juan, he played 25 minutes in this game, and Warriors fans have been campaigning for him to get more minutes. He's like a pretty damn good NBA player, so that's cool. Warriors lose this game despite being on a win streak lately, and the Celtics made a comeback, so that's nice to see. Other game, I did not watch Bulls versus Cavs because I've given up on the team, even though the Bulls would win this one. And in the other game I watched was Wizards versus Pistons, because you know what? When your job is to talk about basketball, sometimes you have to watch two not very good teams play because you need to be informed about them. And I didn't really have too much to say from this one. On the Wizards side of things, Russell Westbrook nearly had a triple-double at halftime. He had 7 points, so he didn't get it. But Jesus, though we only got 1 assist in the second half, so that's a little flip there. Another example where there is not much to say. Rui Hachimura had a worse game than I thought. Yeah, I do want to talk about briefly Isaiah Stewart. He is fucking awesome. Isaiah Stewart is a rookie center for the Detroit Pistons. He finished this game with 19 points and 12 rebounds on 7 for 11 shooting. The other day, he had like a 20-plus rebound game. I think it was 25 rebounds. He hit a 3 in this one. He sometimes takes threes, and they sometimes go in. Like, he is one of those types of players that, like, he's not that big, he's not that athletic, he's not anything crazy, but he just does everything right, and he puts in the effort every time. So Isaiah's like that. He's a really good young player, and the Pistons fans should be excited about him, and he should be talked about more. Saddiq Bey is obviously the better young player of the two, but like the fact that he gets all this shine, meanwhile Isaiah is also on a not far level from Saddiq Bey. Just want to point that out. Other than that, though, not a great game, and Jeremy Grant continues to concern me because he's been really struggling lately, and it's like getting a question of like, was the start of the season a bit of a fluke? Also, I should say Josh Jackson in this one, and really Josh Jackson for this season in general has been really good, so shout out Josh. And then the final game would be Suns versus Spurs. I turned this game off like halfway through the fourth quarter because the Spurs were completely annihilating the Suns. And it wasn't necessarily like the Suns didn't have people out. Like usually when the Suns lose, they have one guy out or not or something like that. But from what I can tell, I mean, they had their main three, obviously. But nobody could fucking score. So that's going to be a bit of an issue. And then on the Spurs side of things, they were playing beautiful basketball. If you look at this box score, I mean, 17, 14, 13, 12, 18, 19, what's that? That's 6 players in double figures. They were just playing team basketball. I want to talk about, is it Daniel Eubanks? It's Drew Eubanks, not Daniel. I don't know where I got Daniel from. Eubanks was awesome in this game. What's his finishing box score here? He finished with 13 and 13 on 6 for 6 shooting. He had a stretch where he scored like 6 straight points. He had a floater, a dunk, and then he hit a step through mid range jump shot at the buzzer. Is like, God, that was just nice to see. But I did, like I said, I wanted to focus on the Eastern Conference playoffs because I was thinking about this through the Celtics game. The Eastern Conference playoffs are getting interesting. The Charlotte Hornets are dropping because of their injuries. The Raptors lately have been doing better, although it seems like they're trying to tank because they were resting starters. The Wizards just won a game, obviously. The Bulls suck, so don't worry about them. I'm clearly out of it at this point, if you haven't understood. I mean, the Knicks are getting better. The Celtics have finally figured it out, so they're starting to, like, get in a confident place in the standings to where, like, yeah, the Celtics are pretty much back now after a terrible start. Like, I think the top 5 teams in the conference are probably not top 5 actual in talent, but like the 5 teams that are solidly going to be in the playoffs right now are the top 5 teams at the moment. The Sixers, Nets, Bucks, Celtics, and Hawks. I'm confident all 5 of those teams are going to make it, and it's the next 3, and as well as the play-in tournament possibility. The Heat, I would probably predict them to be in at that 6th spot. The Knicks probably 7 and 8. I think 8 could go between the Hornets, the Pacers, the Bulls, the Raptors, and the Wizards. Like, there's a very slim difference there in wins. The Hornets and the Pacers do have a decent margin. Like, there's a 6% win percentage difference between the Pacers and the Chicago Bulls, which is a pretty comfortable difference. The Pacers have 3 more wins and 4 less losses than the Bulls, but anything is possible. I'm not really thinking about the Bulls. I'm thinking more about the Wizards and the Raptors here, because I just don't see it with the Bulls making the playoffs right now, and it's fucking depressing, but it is what it is. The Hornets also, they're in an interesting situation because they're trying to keep their head above water while they don't have LaMelo or Gordon Hayward, and that's like pretty much all of their team. So not having them is a bit of an issue. Terry Rozier is doing his best. Terry Rozier also having a great season, so shout out to him for that. But the playoffs in the East are interesting. Like, you don't expect typically, how many games are left in the season? Like less than 20 per team. Let me see here. That is doing the math in my head, which is not a good thing for me. 56. Yeah, there's 70 games, 72 games this season. So yeah, it's a little less than 20. It's still open. Like, there's still a lot. Like, the Hawks down to probably the Pacers could flip. Like, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See, this is why I'm a YouTuber, because I can't realize that that's a difference of 5. Yeah, that. I'm probably gonna look real stupid, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not editing it out. So yeah, the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are interesting. Just wanted to talk about that briefly. The games today were not that particularly interesting, other than the good game between the Celtics and the Warriors, although I'm realizing the more and more I do these post-game recaps that there isn't much for me to say, because almost every team in the league at this point, I know what they are. Earlier on in the season, you're trying to figure out the differences between each team, how they've improved, how they've gotten worse, what new players are doing in new situations. At this point, everybody's established, so we're just kind of waiting for the playoffs. And there's also the point in the regular season where I don't really know what to do video topic-wise. I have to come up with stuff as it goes along, but for the most part, there's not too much. But yeah, I don't know what that's getting a little bit of a ramble, but all right. The video is now at 8 minutes plus, so I've achieved my goal. Yeah, subscribe to the channel again if you haven't already, but that is it. Goodbye.